One other epic convention is the use of a catalogue. In the ancient times, when Homer and Virgil wrote their epics, they made use of a roll call of the warriors. Milton in Paradise Lost presents the different fallen angels in the order of their protocol. Before this catalogue begins, Milton says, "Say muse, their names then known, who first, who last, roused from the slumber on that fiery couch, at their great emperor's call." With these lines, Milton goes on to present the catalogue of the fallen angels, and it is a long list. We have Moloch, we have Chemos, there is Astarte, there is Tammuz, Isis, Osiris, and a horde of fallen angels presented one after the other in the order of their superiority. So Milton is very, very conscious of using the epic conventions in the whole of Paradise Lost. Having presented to us the catalogue, Milton then also uses a number of allusions. I have already told you that Paradise Lost is based on the biblical theme, so there are a number of biblical allusions. There are also classical allusions. There are allusions to the scientific world, to the geographic world, and of course there are literary allusions as well. Milton then also makes use of digressions. This is a very important point. As students of literature, you might be wondering if it is right on the part of a poet to digress from the main theme. Why should Milton, whose venture is to justify the ways of God to men, digress at all? Well, imagine an epic is a long narrative work. It is written in several books, and if a work of art, an epic, runs into say 10 to 12 books, each book approximately of about 1,000 lines, won't the poet need to digress? Yes, digressions are definitely an important aspect of an epic. In Paradise Lost, we find Milton making use of digressions to present pagan rituals, contemporary places like Vallombrosa Valley, mythology, both Greek and Roman, biblical anecdotes. So, along with presenting several such allusions, Milton also makes use of epic similes. You might want to know what is a simile. A simile, as some of you may already know, is a comparison between two dissimilar objects as though they are one and the same, with the use of words like as if, as though, like, such as, etc. An epic is an extended simile. In Milton's Paradise Lost, there is the use of an epic simile to compare Satan to the Leviathan. An epic simile is used to compare the fallen angels to leaves in Vallombrosa Valley in autumn season. The epic similes are also used to compare Satan's shield to the moon as seen through Galileo's telescope, and his spear is compared to the tallest pine hewn out of the Norwegian hills. Now these similes are very, very interesting. Before I explain to you one of the similes, I want you to quickly take a look at a Leviathan. This here is an image of a Leviathan. A Leviathan is a monstrous sea animal which lies submerged, and the sailors passing by would mistake the Leviathan to be an island and anchor their boats. And then the Leviathan would shake its body and devour the unsuspecting sailors. So, to compare Satan's deceptive nature, Milton makes a very appropriate use of an epic simile. Having discussed the use of epic similes in Paradise Lost, let us now look at the use of Homeric epithets. There are several epithets in Paradise Lost. Satan is called infernal serpent, Eve is referred to as the mother of mankind, and Chemos is referred to as the obscene dread of Moab's sons. All these epithets add to the exalted language that Milton uses in Paradise Lost. They also allow scope for better interpretation of these different, whether it is a serpent, the mother of mankind, or one of the pagan gods. The next epic convention that Milton follows is that of the use of formal speeches. Homer's and Virgil's epics are full of formal speeches. So also in Paradise Lost, even in Book 1, there are a number of speeches delivered by Satan. Some of these speeches begin thus: "If thou beest he, but oh how fallen! Fallen cherub, to be weak is miserable, doing or suffering. Is this the region, this the soil, this the clime?" Well, there are several such speeches in Paradise Lost. And in Book 1, when we encounter Satan addressing either Beelzebub or the other fallen angels with some of these speeches, we find that the speeches are extremely formal, and Milton is very scrupulously following the epic convention of inserting formal speeches in his epic. One other use of an epic convention is the presentation of deus ex machina. What do we mean by this term? This is also a Greek term which means God in a machine. It is used to bring the supernatural element into a work of art. In Milton's Paradise Lost, there is God himself, there are angels, there are fallen angels, so there is no dearth of the use of the deus ex machina. If you are clear up to this point, let us proceed further. Milton's Paradise Lost is spread on a vast canvas. We have already told you how Milton's intention in writing Paradise Lost was to justify the ways of God to man, and the whole history of mankind, the spheres of heaven, earth and hell are all covered on his canvas. The biblical story of the creation of man, of Satan's rebellion, of the temptation of Eve and Adam, and the subsequent fall lends a very big canvas for Milton to work on. And Milton, without any hesitation, makes full use of this epic convention. Another epic convention used is the use of inversions. Look at these examples. "What in me is dark, illumine, him the almighty power hurled headlong, and him thus answered soon his bold compeer." If you looked at these sentences carefully, you would have noticed that the usual word order is inverted. Milton, with his fondness for Latinized expressions, and of course, in keeping with the epic conventions, makes several such uses of epic inversions. An epic, as we told you right at the beginning, is of national interest. This story of the creation and the fall of man is of interest to not only England, but to the whole of the European world and across the world. Milton's Paradise Lost thus deals with a topic that can be of interest to any nation at any period of time, and even today, in the 20th century, we continue to read his Paradise Lost. The next epic convention that we should look into is the division of an epic into several books. While Homer and Virgil made use of different number of books, Milton's initial publication of Paradise Lost had 10 books, and then in the subsequent revised edition, Milton increased the number of books to 12. So, the number of books that Paradise Lost is divided into